In this tutorial, I'm going to go through the text tool in After Effects, very similar to Photoshop, so I'll be fairly quick about it, but there are a couple of gotchas. So first, let me make a new composition. I'm going to call it the text tutorial. Okay, and it is an HDTV 1080p 2997 resolution, and the duration is 10 seconds, and it's on a black background. All good, just like all the other tutorials I've been doing. So there's my text composition. Now, if by chance you have another composition already open, you might find that there's two compositions open and you're starting to design on the wrong one. So make sure you're on the right composition, and in fact you can even close the ones you don't need. So here I am, text tutorial. Okay, so I'm going to need some text. I'm going to go to the text tool right here, and I'm going to click on it to open it, and it opens up what's called the character panel. See that there? And immediately I can start to modify the text that I create. So let me just type down here, and again, we're not going to click and drag a text box. We're not going to work with text boxes, especially in After Effects. So click and type a word. There we go. Now, I can position it where it is because I can't see it. I'm going to go to my selection tool, and I'm going to just move it somewhere here. And again, if I wanted to align it, I could just align it like so, and now it's dead center of the composition. Okay. Am I seeing everything here? Let's see. Let's get it to fit. There we go. Now we're seeing the whole composition. I had this at a 50% zoom before, and I actually wasn't seeing the bottom. It's a square composition. So make sure you're on fit. For the most part, unless you really got to look at stuff off the screen, you can go down to smaller views and you can see things working outside the composition window. I'll keep it on fit. There we go. So there's my text. Now, what are the properties of it currently? You're going to go over to that character panel, and if by some chance that gets closed, okay, you can just go to Window, Character, and put a check mark beside it, and it turns it back on. Now you look at this paragraph panel, right? That's one that I'm not going to use that much at all. So let's just get rid of it. There's a little gripper there. It's like a bunch of little dots, like I think it's 8 dots. I'm going to grab those 8 dots and I'm going to grab it. Now look as I move around, you get these blue lines and those shapes, and that tells you you're about to add something. There it is. I'm going to put it up here. Click and drop it there. So now the paragraph panel was dropped up there where the blue was. I could take the character panel and I could put it, for example, in this effects and presets. Drop it there. Say, you know what? That's not bad because now I'm taking up less space, so it's a good place to keep it because I'm not going to be using effects and presets. So there we go. There's my character. What can I change? Well, select again. If you look now down here, I've got a T for text. This is a text layer, which is a vector graphic, can be scaled to any size because it's mathematically created and you won't lose quality. It's not a pixel image, a raster image. It's a vector image. So, and you notice that the content of that text layer is written as the source name. Okay, so let's select that layer. There's the bounding box. First thing, let's change the font. So I can go over here and I can just pick something like, I want to be probably a sans serif. I'll pick, I know Arial is a sans serif. There you go. No little hooks and feet on the text. Okay, what else can I do with the sans serif? I could make it bold or italicized or whatever. I'm going to just keep it regular. The color chip is right here. That'll get the color chooser. Click on it. As long as your text layer is selected, I can put a new color in there. Let's make it yellow. There we go. It's now yellow. Okay, so that's the fill color. Let's go to white, just because it's easier on the eyes. There we go. So I've got Arial, regular, white fill, and then you've got the stroke, the outside edges of the text. If you click on that and then double click, you'll get the color picker again. Let's make it a bright red so we can see it. Okay, there we go. Now we've got a red stroke there. And the thing is, I'm not really seeing it right now. So let's go down here and see if we can increase the scale of it. Not working. Oh, you know why? Because I'm no longer selected on my text. So I've got to go back, do the stroke again, stroke color red, scale of my stroke. There it is. Now it's picking up the 20 pixels. It didn't see it initially because I somehow lost my connection to this layer. It was deselected. Okay, so just pay attention to that. There's a 20 pixel. There's a 9 pixel. Any way you slice it, unless you're doing something for the holiday season, it's pretty ugly. Okay, generally speaking, we use no stroke. Okay, so that's the little box right next to it. Okay, select no stroke, but again, I haven't selected the layer. I've lost my connection there. Now pick no stroke, and there it goes away. The font size, again, select the layer. I always select the layer just like Photoshop, and then I can scale this down by dragging left, click and drag left. I can scale it way up, click and drag right, like so. If I want to get my initial font size, sort of say that's where I want it to start. Okay, I can center this text on my composition by using the align window, and I can horizontally center it, and then I can vertically center it. The anchor point is not currently in the middle of the text, so I would click and drag it, click on Command or Control, snap the anchor point to the middle of the text. Now if I go over here and I select my rotation transformation, there it is. If I set a keyframe starting with no rotation, and then if I advance 15 frames, just like any other object we've been doing, and I put one full rotation in there, one 360-degree rotation, it's now going to rotate around the center of where I put the anchor point in the middle of the text. Let's see what happens. There you go. Good, right? It takes 15 frames to fully rotate. That may be looked like it was slower because, again, our preview was not real time the first time. There we go. Now it's going faster. Okay, so yeah, you know what? I don't really want to do that. So let's take the rotation out. Let's go to the hello, go letter U, get rid of that, the keyframes being shown. One of the other things I really wanted to show you here, select the text layer. Okay, and you can, as I say, you can start by scaling the size of your font with the scale here, but then you can always rescale later down here with transforms. Okay, the thickness of your stroke is here. I advise not using a stroke. The other thing you really want to pay close attention to is this one right here. And this is the all caps or upper and lower. Right now I've got an upper H, all lowercase after that. If I select the double caps there, now everything is fully uppercase. Okay, select it again, upper and lower. If I want a small h there, okay, I'm going to go to my text tool. I'm going to go back and I'm going to just type a lowercase h without holding shift. When I first did it, I held shift and put a capital H in. Okay, so that's how you get all lowercase. Select the layer like so, and then I can make them very quickly all uppercase. So if you ever find a situation where as you're typing your text that it's all uppercase and that's not what you want, the previous user probably had that in all caps. And that's really all I wanted to show you. Everything else about this layer can be animated. I showed you rotation, but any other transformation can be used. We can do a quick fade. Let's go to 0. Let's fade it on. So at 0 at the very start, we're going to go to 0%. Opacity, have to turn it on. There it is. Go 15 frames in. Okay, and I'm going to now go to 100% opacity. And now let's just play that through. Again, the first time, see that gap up here in the green? That means it needs to render the first time you play. Okay, now let's play it a second time. The green is now filled in. It'll play smoothly now. There you go. And if I want to make it a longer fade up, I can just extend my keyframes, just like we can with anything else. Okay, so that's the text tool, very similar to Photoshop.